Alright, so Bruh+Sitaux versus Marine Lord Margougou and Luca over here in 2 qualifiers. We will have Coast to Mountain and Not Socotra for Bruh+Sitaux. Neither of these maps were involved in 2-1. Coast to Mountain is a map that I think last was played in NAC. Not Socotra is a Battle of Africa map. Other side is Cape of Storms, which is a legacy 2-pools map. In fact, in 2-1 we had a community mapping contest, and that is the winner of the community mapping contest from 2 years ago. So Cape of Storms became a legacy 2-pools map, and Team Islands. So we have a lot of hybrid and water maps in the party over here. Britons and Ethiopians are the global bands of the two teams, and we will have Byzantines, Indians, Italians, Magyars, Chinese, Turks, Lithuanians, Humans, and Mongols, Burgundians available for Bruh+Sitaux. Other side, Mayans, Vikings, Khmer, Saracens, and Spanish will be Pool 1. Sicilians, Goths, Teutons, Koreans, and Franks will be Pool 2. So, no major surprise, I would say, in the Pool 2. Six Frank is a little bit off. So that's basically the only thing I could criticize, but it is actually extremely hard to actually pick bad civs for the opponent, because with the map pool being fairly versatile, it's very, very hard to really just give bad civs to the opponent, because every civ has a certain use. With that being said, we are ready to jump into game number 1 over here. It is going to be Arabia between these two teams. So we are gonna have Margougou and Luca coming in here versus Bruh+Sitaux. Don't be surprised, it looks like Luca is using his second account over here, which is Twists, but this is still Luca. And Margougou, who's a French player, one of the better French players out there. No Marine Lord apparently in this game. And we will have Mayans, no surprise for Luca over here. To be honest, I think the only civ that Luca really loves to play is Mayans. He plays Mayans this, Mayans that. So obviously that's his civ selection for this game in blue. Other side, for his team is gonna be Franks for Margougou in green. Bruh+Sitaux will be using yellow and red. Sitaux is playing Chinese in yellow, and Kumans for Bruh in red. So Chinese will be your archer civ, and Bruh will be playing Kumans over here, which is an interesting civilization for an Arabia play, because it's not easy to play Kumans on Arabia. It's a very, very good pocket in team games. We have Bruh coming in with a lame. Lame's away 1 sheep as well for the opponent. And with that, the idea of Kumans is that they are actually very, very good with the feudal pressure, but they're delayed to Castle Age, which can be really problematic in many, many cases. They're better in 3v3's pocket than 2v2's the cavalry civ, I believe. That being said, there is going to be a fairly reasonable chance, especially with the elephant being lamed from the opponent. We do have a potentially French chat over here, but it doesn't really seem that French to me, so who knows what language is? Someone on YouTube or Twitch chat probably knows and is able to translate. It's Portuguese. If it's actually Portuguese, then I'm surprised, because that's Luca saying that. Or, well, I don't know if Luca actually speaks Portuguese or uses Google Translate, but Bruh is just laughing on that. And according to chat, the translation is, "I'm hungry, do you have something to eat?" Oh, that's why. Luca got lamed here. Now we get that. That's a beautiful moment. That's a beautiful moment. Oh, man. Luca is a special human being, let's just say that, when it comes to participation in tournaments. Apparently, he's French-Canadian, so I don't think that he speaks Portuguese, so that most likely was a translation to Portuguese. And the reason why he did that is because Bruh is Portuguese. The only player that doesn't speak French in this lineup right now is Bruh. He's Brazilian, so that's why there was a translation to Portuguese by Luca. But regardless of that, he actually lost an elephant to a lame over here, so Bruh is going to be sitting on 3. So Bruh is a rapidly improving Brazilian player out there. He didn't have amazing tournament performances in big events, but he's a steady player in smaller and medium-sized tournaments. So he's really a player to look out for. We haven't really seen much of him in team games, so I'm curious what he can do with Sitaux, who has had some inconsistency issues, but Sitaux is also a scary player if you look at him, especially in team games. A bit of a scout scuffle on the right side, and believe it or not, this is actually a legitimate civ matchup for both teams, so both of them have a reasonable archer and cavalry civ at the end of the day. Talking about the maps, we do have a fairly defendable base for Margougou over here in green. For Luca, this is also definitely volable as well. Stone isn't great, but other than that, this is a relatively defendable base. For Bruh, the gold mine is also alright. And lastly, Sitau's gold is also actually looking pretty good. So all of these players have fairly well defendable bases to start the game with. It looks like Margougou actually missed out on 2 of his sheep. That's very, very unlucky. Like, you can definitely blame him for that though, because he's got some dark tiles around, so it could very well be his sheep being hidden there, and now Sitaux is going to lame that away. Someone on chat said that Margougou actually started Bruh. Bruh. I hope he didn't just push in a deer to his opponent, but thanks to the wonders of Capture Age, we gotta check that out. Nope. Okay, I got scared for a moment that he just pushed in a deer for his opponent and then let his scout die. But nope, he just was chilling right next to the opponent's town center over here. So for now, he's just gonna be rocking with a lost scout over here, which hurts, by the way. One of the rare things with this lame that you're going to see, well, it's not rare, but one of the reasons why it's somewhat rare to see scouts players laming is because you won't use that scout as part of your army in Feudal Age. So it's more usual for the archers player to lame the opponent, because you don't need that scout as much as it is needed for a scouts player. So someone on Twitch chat actually said that Margougou actually started playing Definitive Edition without any previous RTS experience, and if that's really the case, that's an insane accomplishment. The thing is that Margougou is, I think, top 200, maybe even close to top 100. He's a solid French player, and Margougou, actually, apparently I've been pronouncing that wrong for the last half a year or so. Apologies for that, so it's Margougou, actually. But we fix things, it's fine. So it's Margougou and Luca, but here come the scouts, and they will jump on a villager from Bruh over here. You can actually use your TC to heal up your ego later, so this is a nice value, this is a beautiful value over here for Luca and Margougou. There's a stable coming in, which raises the question of what exactly are we going to do with the Cumans here. We might just see a standard scouts play from them, which is still viable, but it kind of removes the biggest strength of the Cumans. Or it might be a second TC that is delayed compared to the first one. You see that he doesn't really have the resources to afford it, so it's probably scouts opening, and then a second TC will be added before Castle Age, but not immediately. That's probably most likely the plan in this one. So with that being said, we are gonna have those coming up, and apparently, according to Twitch chat information, Margougou is also a young player, so we have a super young team over here. Luca is a very young player, and so is Margougou. So a lot of potential ahead of these players, especially if they schedule tournament games like they did in Tuples, because, well, one of the biggest problems that Luca has in tournaments is actually scheduling games. With that being said, we have slow walls coming up for Sitaux, just massing archers back at home. Full walls for Margougou as he's gonna go for his own scouts. Archers already coming forward with the support of a spearman from Luca. And with that being said, Scout's defense is here for Bruh, but he's gonna be in a bit of a trouble over here against this push, because he's 2 versus 1 and his teammate is very, very far away from helping. This is why you hit the Scouts player more than the Archers player, because the Archer player is gonna be very, very slow getting there to defend his teammate. So it's 2 versus 1 right now, and the Scouts can't really do much against Spearmen and Archers. So this wall is slowly going down. This is a Kuman team bonus, though one of the things that's nice about having Kumans here on Arabia. Kuman team bonus means that your team is gonna have stronger poly-side walls in general. And if you remember the map pool, having like maps like Team Islands and so, not a lot of maps require as much walling as Arabia does for these players. Now the army of Sitaux arrives. He's gonna take the hill here as well. Archers right now having +1 attack, and it looks like it's gonna be a disengagement coming from Luca and Margougou. Luca doesn't have a blacksmith, right? Actually, he does have a blacksmith, but fletching is just now coming in for him, as we're gonna have villagers being sent to gold now from Bruh. So it seems like he's actually going to stop adding villagers on food after, well, he already has 19. This is gonna be a bit of an issue here with his food income, because he's very, very heavy on berries. Fast blacksmith comes in for potentially +1 defense. So with that being said, Scouts now in for Margougou. They do have the French extra HP, but that's all. No defense upgrades whatsoever. Fletching just now coming in for Luca. So you could potentially take this fight over here. +1 defense for Sitaux first. Bruh is not actually upgrading his cavalry right now. So with that, we will still have no second TC for Bruh. You could still start making that when you go up to Castle Age and still have a nice little advantage, but still, this is not necessarily the best use of Kumans over here, but you can't just go full 2 TC boom. This is why I feel like Kumans is not as good in 2v2s as it is in 3v3s. So, looking at the resources right now, Luca is actually getting close to clicking up to Castle Age. So is Margougou. Other side, Bruh and Sitaux, not so much. So, Castle Age times might also be better for our cold color team, which is going to be a massive advantage. And now they're actually shifting their focus towards Sitau's base. And once again, Sitau's army is slow catching up. So they will have like a half-a-minute advantage going for Sitaux here. Sitaux does have a defensive force back at home. And as you see, the bar is filling up. Both Luca and Margougou will click up to Castle Age much, much faster than their opponents. And considering that the Kuman player is playing 1 TC, that pretty much just means that the Frankish player has a massive eco lead compared to him, because he at least has the free horse color benefit, which helps an awful lot for him. Margougou on the way to Castle Age, so is Luca. And now they're going to try and hit the wood line of Sitaux here. We'll see one big engagement right now, and the tricky thing is who loses more archers. Scouts won't matter as much now that we're getting close to Castle Age. Archers will, because the archers will be converted into crossbows. +1 defense is what Margougou is waiting for, but Bruh jumps on it right now, and this is actually a pretty decent engagement, I would say, for our warm color team here. They will pick off the scouts before forging would kick in, and if they are successful cleaning up those archers, that's going to be a very, very nice horde of archers for Sitaux, who is on the way to Castle Age as well with 27 crossbows against merely 16, and indeed, trading off scouts to archers is always an excellent trade. So now it's gonna be scouts coming at the back as well for Margougou, but suddenly he's the one in trouble, and Luca is the one that has to dispatch his crossbows. It's gonna be crossbows faster than Sitaux is gonna have crossbows. Nice contingency what was coming in from Margougou right now. Still no second town center from our Kuman player. He's going up to Castle Age right now, so this is the time where he's gonna be able to afford it soon. But yeah, Luca's gonna have to make it count with those crossbows, because if Sitaux is having the chance to upgrade these two crossbows, that's gonna be a disaster. And now you have to quick wall that around as well. Now it's Castle Age, so Sitaux is going to disengage. He's gonna wait until he gets his upgrades. It's gonna be a triple stable play at the end of the day for Margougou, so he's gonna go for the aggressive approach, which could work because his opponent is also 1 TC for now. So, with that, it looks like Luca's gonna send for a couple of crossbows, see if he can pick off a couple of Voyagers on the opponent's base. Second TC now coming in for Margougou. It looks like Luca is playing with 1 TC triple range archers, so he's gonna go once again very aggro. Whereas for Sitaux, he's gonna be playing triple range as well. So neither of the players actually goes for eco-heavy approach. All of them will go for the more aggressive gameplay over here. And it's starting to concern me that Bruh still hasn't dropped the second TC with Cumans. I wonder why he picked Cumans. We'll actually have to check his draft after the game, because I feel like Cumans are being misused here a little bit. That being said, that's still a blob of 35 crossbows heading towards Margougou, who, by the way, does have +2 defense and even +1 attack. Now they're trying to break into the base of Bruh here. Bruh just reaching Castle Age, so he's up against like 15 crossbows and a couple of knights with basically nothing. So these crossbows actually need to help out at Bruh's base, otherwise he's gonna be in massive trouble. He's just getting chain barding. Those houses will hold for some time, but not awfully long, to be honest, especially with knights bashing that down. Here come the first knights. You need like about 5, 6, 7 knights to actually be able to start having a chance at potentially fighting this. Obviously, you won't be able to clear this one up entirely, but what you want to make sure is that those knights and scouts don't run past you. Oh, that's a disaster though. Crossbows will run past the TC of Bruh here. These contingency walls were quite late, and the crossbows now finally come in, but that is already some massive Voyager running that Bruh has to do. Loses 2, loses 3, make it 4. So he's down quite a lot in Voyager count, and when your Cuman player is the lowest Voyager count in the game, that's already a disaster. TC is full as well of Villagers, so the Knights can kill a couple more. Now the crossbows are in here, so they can actually clean this one up. But still, it's 94 Villagers for Luca's team against 83. That being said, if Bruh is able to stabilize, Sitaux has an insane army of crossbows. It's 49 crossbows. So if that blob starts moving, that could be really dangerous. Third TC coming in here for Margougou, second for Sitaux, and 2 TCs are up as well for Bruh, who, by the way, is still losing Villagers to just one lowly Knight over here. So at the end of the day, Bruh actually lost... Where is that? 15 Villagers, oh my goodness, that's way too much. 15 Villagers down from Bruh. 6 killed by Luca and 9 by Margougou. Still, it might not be completely over, especially if Sitaux is able to use these crossbows well, but they are definitely on the back foot. Surprisingly, they still have the score lead. They are up against 2 and 3 TCs respectively. We have 2 and 2 from them. Now Knights are pushing those crossbows, and you need a good big blob of crossbows to be efficient. You can't just send in 5, 6 crossbows, because now your TC is gonna get pushed. Knights arriving here, and they might just dive on the mangonel, as the crossbows are trying to melt through the building. Not really going to happen because there is no more obsidian arrows, believe it or not. Once again, Sitau's gonna have to run back, and now this is gonna be a tricky hold here. Sitau's gold mine is in danger, and he doesn't really have another reliable source of gold, so he's gonna have to do some contingency walls here. Knights now will jump on top of the mangonel and pick up the mangonel right now. This is going to help the crossbows take this fight. 51 crossbows against 34. Voyager count heavily in the favor of Luca's team. But the wars are up, and now I think Bruh and Sitaux were able to stabilize. Definitely not ideal situation for them, but that's a scary group of crossbows, and they could start marching into the base of Margougou here really fast. This TC is at a very nice defensive position, and there's a siege workshop as well. Workshop coming in here for Sitaux on top of the hill, as he's gonna pick off those knights. He does have University and Ballistics, which is an important upgrade right now, and they could just run in here just as much as Margougou and Luca run into the base of Bruh. Now, there's more crossbows coming in here. These walls will hold for some time, but you're gonna need like 10-15 knights. Probably not 15, but 10 knights to clean up these crossbows. Once again, it's 1, 2, 3 villagers down for Bruh by the time he reacts. His opponent does have University and Ballistics as well, coming in with 3 TCs. Both teams will be losing some villagers in this one. The question is if Bruh can clean this up by himself, because he would be in trouble quite badly. Margougou is able to save most of his villagers. So that's the key. If you take a look at the villager KD, at the end Margougou lost 2 villagers, Bruh lost 18. So that's a significant problem. Now the Knights will try to dive in on the Mangonel. Mangonel goes down. And a lot of idle time is there on Margougou, but oh my goodness, disaster. Disaster for Bruh. And he's down to 36 villagers, forced to run his villas. I mean, Margougou's eco is taking a hit, but it is nowhere close to what Bruh is taking. Bruh's eco is pretty much dead right now, and the next wave of crossbows should be able to finish him off. So he's got the Knights, but it is 22 Knights against 18, and losing the cavalry player hurts so much. There will be a couple of crossbows coming in to aid him, but Luca is just gonna keep camping down farms, picking off villagers, and Bruh is in significant trouble right now. The bigger problem is that he isn't able to assist with knight numbers anymore. He just doesn't have the eco for it. He doesn't have gold income, he doesn't have food income. So he's sitting on 2 gold. They are behind by 30 villagers now. There is some idle time for Margougou, so you see that his villager idle time is actually rising crazy high. But Bruh is still up in the skies with idle time, so that's the biggest problem here. And I think now this force will head towards Luca, but Luca's base is also well defendable. This is actually vulnerable in case the crossbows try to break in there. TCs are protecting the key resources. Now they will try to clean up this force of crossbows. These have +1 defense. These crossbows do have +2 from Sitaux. Sitaux is still the highest score in the game, but he needs to do some massive carrying to make this one happen. As you see, Luca is actually getting close to clicking up to Imperial. So that is going to be an increasing problem. Luca's going to lose his entire army over here, but still, he did reasonable damage, and it's only 46 eco for Bruh. He's up on 3 TC, so it's not impossible for him to catch up. But it's gonna take something like 10-15 minutes. No, maybe not 15, but 10-ish minutes of game time to catch up with the rest of the players. But here it is. Crossbows breaking in, and as I said, these have +2 defense. They also have the better numbers. It's 39 against just 25. There's a lot of meat shield in front, and suddenly Luca could be in trouble. Even though he's gonna click into Imperial, this is gonna be some tight 3 minutes, but it doesn't really matter because while Sitaux was doing that on the left side, the right side suddenly gets overrun by cavalry. And despite the fact that the Bruh's team actually has a bigger army, what is missing is the cavalry component and the mobility from this one. So they're getting some, but this damage that's being caused here is just much larger. So if you take a look at the overall real KD, Sitaux now lost 24 villagers himself. He's down to 119, and there is nowhere to go. Like, he's running villagers back to this TC, but the TC is full, and Imperial Age coming in as well for Luca. This army didn't really accomplish much. At the end of the day, Bruh killed 0 villagers, Sitaux killed 12, but he lost 27 in the process. And he's got 25 losses on his teammate as well. Sitau's bringing the crossbows to clean this one up, but this game might just be over when Imperial Age kicks in for Luca. Because he's gonna go for Arbalest, potentially Rams as well. Could go for a forward castle right in the face of his opponent. So with that being said, these crossbows were cleaned up, but the knights are still there for Margougou, and the biggest problem is this one, 40 villagers discrepancy between the two teams right now. It still may not seem completely impossible, but it is going to be very hard for Sitaux and Bruh to come back into this one. I'm surprised that they still have the score lead somehow. They need to do some insane raiding on Margougou's eco. So it is like they have to kill essentially 30-40 villagers to make this one happen. And as I said, the biggest problem is gonna be this one. 46 soon to be Arbalests right in the face of Bruh. The reinforcements will be cut off as well. And now it's Iron Casting coming in. for Margougou. His opponent does have +1/+2 mangonels coming out as well, and landing some decent hits over here. At the end, 2 mangonels get traded off to 2 mangonels here, but Luca is up to Imperial, and those Arblasts apparently will be just hitting Sitaux because they realize that Sitaux is the stronger player. It's still impressive how close the score is, but that's, I think, very, very misleading. There is a 30 villagers lead for Luca's team. More importantly, there is a blob of Arblasts coming in. If this was an old patch with Obsidian Arrows, this would be game over right now. Luckily for Sitau's team, Luca's team doesn't actually have Siege to back this one up. That doesn't mean that it's a good scenario by any means for Sitaux, so I mean, he could lose 15 villagers here if Luca decides to just pick those off. Imperial Age on the way for Sitaux, but he's gonna need 3 minutes until he gets there, and that's an awful lot of time. We'll have still 66 crossbows on the field for Sitaux, trying to break out of here. There will be knights that will try to jump on top of them. Ecos are slowly getting closer, but I mean, it would be a massive, massive surprise if Bruh's team would be able to come back into this one. Bruh is right now having 30 villagers on food, which is decent. And the thing is that Margougou still isn't up to Imperial. 144 away is Sitaux. I feel like if Sitaux is somehow able to keep his villagers alive, there might be a glimpse of hope remaining for them with Arbalest. We'll see now the crossbows potentially annihilated over here by the cavalry, although this is +2/+2 cavalry, but they don't actually have Imperial Age upgrades because, well, Margougou is not Imp. So, 1 minute away from Imperial is Sitaux. If he gets to Imp, he's gonna have comparable Arbalest numbers to his opponent. And the Knight numbers are also pretty close, so the only thing that Sitau's team would have trouble with is Voyager numbers. Now, they will actually try to fight these Arbalests, which might be an ambitious move. I mean, they feel like they want to clean this up, but this is going to be inefficient. And you're gonna wonder if you actually should have waited like half more minute until you get to Imperial and get your upgrades in. They will clean this up because the Knights are still tanky, but this might not have been as efficient as it could have possibly been, and now the horde of Knights will just run straight into the base of Bruh, who once again is playing, oh my goodness. If I had to summarize this game in just a couple of words, then I would just say Bruh being open. So, he just kept being raided, and that many Knights will just jump on a TC, that doesn't matter. You can no longer keep your villagers safe against 28 Knights with +2/+2. And oh, Luca coming in with the forward TC to take away the opponent's goal. Apparently, he wants to punish his opponent here for the earlier lane. And even though Sitaux is gonna be an Imperial, his teammate is just pretty much going to be dead. So, this TC is gonna go down, so you can cross out 15 more villagers from Bruh here. I think Margougou also sees that TC, and when there's actual siege from Luca or Margougou, this is gonna be over. These Arbalests are still doing some damage. Honestly, the biggest problem right now is that Bruh is at 50 villagers and Margougou is at 110. These Knights are just chilling over here right now, not even caring about the villagers being right next to them. But the only way you win this for Sitau's team is if you actually kill like 50-60 villagers from Margougou as well and pretty much turn this into a 1v1. I'm not sure why the Arbalests are focusing the TC and not the villagers beneath it, but this gives a chance for Margougou to run away with all the villagers completely untouched. Oh my goodness. They could have killed a lot more villagers. I mean, there is a lot of chaos. Here, Arbalest coming in to aid this one. There is +1 defense still only for Luca, and there is already +2 for Sitaux. So, Sitaux is doing a good job here. It's the problem that Bruh is getting absolutely stomped. So, defensive castle coming in here for Margougou. Bruh's score, I think, is telling the truth, though. He's down to 4,000 score, 43 villagers. It's 100 villagers lead right now for Bruh's team, or for Luca's team. Thumbring just now coming in for Luca. And as I said, the biggest problem that you're facing is that unless you kill like 100 villagers as well from Margougou, you won't have an even game here. And I feel like now that it's only archers, you could even make a case for skirmishers from the Mayan player. Apparently Luca is struggling quite a bit with production. As you see, he's got 7 Arbalests queued up on all of his ranges, so he could easily use +2 or 3 ranges in here. So You could definitely think about skirmisher play because you're only up against archers pretty much. But you don't need to. You can just try to go for arbs. Indeed, there is like 40 arbs in the queue right now for Luca. He's also having some population issues, I believe. So he is, I think, pop-capped. So he's at 112 villagers. He's not really pop-capped, so he can actually afford to have some more arbs on the field. So with that, these arbs are getting cleaned up over here by the knights and the arbalests. But still, as long as this doesn't change, this isn't going to be a win for Sitau's team. And I feel like now with Margougou being in Imperial, I think Cavalier is going to be the final nail in the coffin. You were able to hold back knights with arbalests, but not for Halberdier. That's a nice, or not for Cavalier. That's a nice find over there for Sitau, but it doesn't change the overall fact that Luca apparently switching into Eldorado Eagles, which is an even better solution than skirmishers are. So you can just switch into Eagle Warriors and you're only up against archers pretty much. There is still a lot of arbalests running around, so credit to Sitau for being able to pick off quite a lot of villagers from Margougou. Margougou is down to 94 here. In fact, he's killing an awful lot of villagers, but still, it is 96 villagers for this cavalry player in Imperial versus 51 on the other that is in Castle Age. Sitau is doing everything he can to turn this one around, but I feel like this game might just be gone for them. That being said, if Bruh can step his game up a little bit in the next one, this should be a very, very good set. So now with his villagers being picked off here, but once the Eagles come in for Luca, this is gonna be extremely hard for Bruh and Sitau to come back from. Like, I feel like at this point, Bruh could just go focus full on rebooming. There is no point making a couple of knights over here, because 2 knights won't change anything in an Imperial Age war. There's Eldorado. Now +2 defense in for Luca, +4 is in though for Sitau, but at latest the Eagles will actually come in soon. And Elite Skirms. Sitau knows that he's gonna have to fight the Elite Skirms, but Elite Skirms here's a white flag. I mean, he's right next to a fairly well-boomed Frankish player that is just going to spam Cavalier here for him, so Elite Skirm won't do anything here. Even if there weren't Eagles, Elite Skirm wouldn't actually be useful at all, because there is just gonna be Cavalier soon. But still 51 villagers for Bruh, they're just pretty much dead here. Sitau is trying his best to turn this one around, but now that the Eldorado Eagles are in this game, pretty much feels officially over. They will still need the Elite upgrade, but even 15 Eldorado Eagles will clean this up, or you might not even need that much. There's still 50 arbs for Sitau, but there is no siege to back this one up, and I feel like if you are Margougou, you are actually having problems with gold. That's why Margougou doesn't have more cavalry in the game. He's having trouble with gold income, only has just 11 villagers on gold. He's floating quite a lot of food over here, but he's not producing anything. And that's a problem. If he actually produced cavalry, he would be cleaning this one up by now. He's getting Cavalier, and it looks like his Cavalier will once again just go for the eco of Bruh, not giving him any rest. And Luca right now is just missing Elite Eagles. Well, of course, the attack upgrades are also missing, but once he has Elite Eagles, he's all set to just start raiding the base of Sitau. So it's, I think, not a matter of who, it's a matter of when right now, because we have to acknowledge that the overall villager count once again is getting closer, and as long as these arbalests are running around in Margougou's eco, it's not an ideal scenario for them, but I mean, the Eagles will soon arrive, and defensive castle coming in for Bruh. We'll see if he's actually able to get that up, because there's already Cavalier out here, and then nope, that's gonna turn into denial, so you can just have the arbs pick off the villagers over there, and Bruh is gonna go back to about 55 villagers or so. So with that, now it's gonna be the cavalry, and more importantly, the Eagles cleaning this one up. More importantly, the Eagles coming in. So with that, the army numbers for Sitau will just go down, but I think the important part is this part of the map. This is This is the starting base of Bruh here. And really, if there was any siege, I mean, Bruh is trying. He's trying to tower that the gold mine over there, but that is just a very, very disappointing effort. And Sitaux finally calls it. Luca's team taking game number 1 over here. They had a very, very ideal civilization combination, and one thing that we shouldn't underestimate is that Luca's best civ by far is Mayans. So he loves his Mayans, whereas you also have to consider that Sitaux and Bruh actually gave Franks to the opponent for this game, but that's by far the strongest pool to civilization, I believe, for Luca's team. So they went for the 2 strongest available civs overall, and that actually contributed quite heavily to being able to win this game. So we're going back and taking a look at the scoreboard. So one thing that was interesting is Cumans and Chinese, and they had Magyars available. So they could have gone for Magyars and Chinese here for archer civs, or Lithuanians. Although it's tricky. Now that I look at the draft of Bruh and Sitaux, one of the problems that they're facing is that they don't really have a lot of archer civs, either of those. Indeed, Luca+Margougou actually used up their 2 best civs, so it's gonna be much, much harder for them to play with Sicilians, for example, if they have to. That being said, we're going to the first home map of Bruh and Sitaux, which will be either Coastal Mountain or Not Socotra. Many people are surprised about Not Socotra, but it's actually indeed a legitimate map, but we're going to Coastal Mountain first. So we are gonna jump into Coastal Mountain, which is a nomad start. So we're going to have Sitaux playing as Magyars in yellow, and Lithuanians is the civilization for Bruh, which is completely understandable for a nomad start. We haven't seen this map in tournaments for a long, long time, especially in team games. There's a lot of strategies to consider over here. Margougou will be playing Koreans in green, and we'll have Spanish in blue for Luca. So how does this map look like? You have a nomad start, but you start with 8 villagers overall. You also start the Bactrian camel for scouting. The middle of the map has quite a lot of huntables, so oftentimes players start over there. But now you also have to consider where the wood lines are, because in the middle there's a lot of hunt but no wood. On the left side there is all the minerals, gold and stone, and also quite a lot of wood, but it's a hilly region. And on the right side there is some gold but no stone, and some wood to work with. So it looks like we're gonna have both teams having one player close to the water, and that's a very, very early dock here for Margougou. Look at that. That's a very super early dock. Lithuanian player is actually going to do the exact same thing over here. Obviously, Lithuanians give you the chance to go for a very, very nice nomad start with the extra food you start with. Sitaux is playing Magyars, which is probably just your general open map civilization here for first scouts and then probably cav archers, because eventually it's probably gonna be knights from Lithuanians and cav archers from the Magyars. First board just now coming in for Luca. He's placing his TC on the other side of the map, on the hilly region, so he's gonna have to use these rhinos for his food income. We'll see if Margougou actually goes for those rhinos, because he's very, very far away from those, so you might need loom to bring those in. It also looks like Luca actually went for a dock, so is Sitaux, so we're pretty much seeing mirror plays over here. So far, villager count is dead even for both players. So oftentimes one of these civilizations on this map actually fights on water, but there is a lot of different strategies for 2v2 here. You could have both of your players fighting on water to guarantee you water, but in that case, if you get pushed on land, you could be in trouble. I would think that the Magyar player will play scouts and the Lithuanian player will play fire galleys. On the other side, we'll see what the Korean player is up to. I think Koreans might be the civ fighting water, but I'm not sure what Spanish could be doing here. Spanish can go for scouts if they want to, but they won't actually be able to do that as good as Magyars do. So Spanish could be useful once you get to Conquistadors, but before that they feel somewhat underwhelming. And considering that there is some rhinos here that Bruh didn't take. These are all takeable for Sitaux for a nice fuel age timing for him. Once again, it looks like we have some Google Translate Portuguese for Luca. Hopefully he's not swearing, because... yeah, Margougou is like, of course. Margougou probably has no idea what his teammate is saying. So, with that being said, I am happy to report as well that apparently Bactrian camels count as military, so they show up in capture age. First to click up the fuel will most likely be Bruh over here. And with that, I would assume he's the one fighting on water, keeps the Voyager on the shorefish, same for all other players apparently. What is Bactrian camel? I think it's a location on the Earth, but no idea. It's a region, most likely. So it's a Bactrian camel. Basically, the purpose of this one is that if you would start with a scout, you would actually be able to potentially harass the opponent's TC building and so. So the first camel goes down over here for Sitaux. F's in chat, please. There is the camel going down. He probably didn't expect his opponent to have his TC over here. One of the problems that you're facing with this map and overall Nomad Stars is that you never really know where your opponent is at. You can suspect it, but you have absolutely no guarantees whatsoever. We're gonna have lumber camps out here for Sitaux for wood. As I said, in the middle you are struggling for wood, even though you do have baobab trees. And baobab trees actually have more wood on them than standard trees. So standard trees only have 100, baobabs have 200, and these acacia trees on the outside do have 150. So you see that this is the standard, this is actually worth a little bit more, and baobab trees are worth the most. So there is the barracks coming in here for Sitaux, a couple of seconds too late, so he's gonna be late with that stable for a few seconds. We do have 3 docks over here for Bruh, going for fire galley production on all 3 of those, only 2 for Margougou, so he is gonna be playing with twice the fire galleys. But anyways, for now, this is actually a very nice TC spot for Margougou. We haven't talked about that. On the wood and all the gold, that's actually an amazing TC spawn, or TC spot for him. So what is Luca up to though? Luca is going to 26 Voyagers, and he's on stone. So he wants to go straight Conquistadors, and that's why he dropped his TC here, because he wanted to go for stone. This could work, but it's dangerous, because you're up against scouts now. The thing, however, is that at the end of the day, both players have their core eco protected by a TC. So you see that you can vote these Voyagers in, this is protected, and Margougou's eco is also well protected. So I like the Conquistador play here a little bit better than Magyar Scouts. But for now, Bruh is going to be taking over on water. So Repair Voyager is in here, but it's still 3-2 in terms of power guy numbers. Now there's a third dock for Margougou as well, Damo Raft already coming in. Ecos are very close for both teams over here, as Luca is getting ready to click up to Castle Age. He doesn't have the buildings just yet, but he is going to be playing with Conquistadors in such an open map. Conquistadors could be a devastating force to fight against. Here's a demo, getting kind of underwhelming connection for now. So with that being said, that fire galley is safe, and it seems like we're gonna have a very, very nice water micro over here for Margougou. That's actually excellent water micro. He didn't lose a single fire galley, I believe, so far. This is some very, very high level fire galley micro from Margougou. So credits to him for that. If we take a look at KD, he actually lost only 1 unit in this game. So he might have lost a fire galley because he didn't lose a Voyager. But still, that was some top-notch micro over there, because he did an excellent job saving his ships. And it buys him time to mass his own ships over here. And we're gonna have a demo connection here coming in. Now it's a 6 Voyagers lead. Make it 8 now for Bruh's team. By the way, I think that mostly comes from just the fact that Luca is already going up to Castle Age here. With that being said, now we have 8 versus 8 fire galleys. Demo is in the queue for Bruh. There is no demos from Margougou. a couple of demos would actually be extremely helpful over here. Demo coming in here, kind of inefficient over there for Bruh+Margougou is another ship over here, and now he takes this open engagement. Bruh is also doing a decent job of saving his own ships over here, and indeed the chat is reminding me that he's Koreans, so he doesn't have demos. The only civ in this game that doesn't have demo rafts. That's kind of the disappointing part of this one, that really Koreans is the only civ that doesn't have demo raft, and that hurts quite a bit over here, because one or two good demo connections are sort of essential, especially now that he's falling behind in fireship HP. So if you compare the two fleets, you will notice that the overall HP is much, much better for Bruh's fleet, and now he's taking the engagement, taking down the fishing ships, and oh my goodness, there's the castle coming in as well. The Magyar scouts here are running around, but I don't think they killed anybody. We can actually check it out. Luca lost some of his fishing ships, but I don't think that he actually lost a lot of villagers on land. He might have had, but we're focusing on water right now. Margougou also lost 5, but that was definitely just fishing ships. So at this point now, Bruh's team has a 77-59 lead over here, and the scouts are actually finding value now. Now that you have to march further away from the TC, you can actually pick off villagers here, and Magyar scouts kill villagers really fast here. So now there is no repair villagers for Margougou, and if Luca loses his fishing eco, they will go down to 30 eco respectively. In fact, Luca must have lost some villagers, because he is 29 and he still has his fishing eco alive. So he definitely did this. And a trade cog! A trade cog, ladies and gentlemen. This is gonna be a beautiful highlight. A trade cog. That was definitely a misclick, but funnily enough, this actually is something that you can use. It's definitely not worth it, but here comes 22 gold, ladies and gentlemen. The trade cog masterpiece from Bruh. That being said, there is a forward siege workshop being dropped here by Sitaux. It's gonna be apparently triple range cav archers though from Sitaux. So conquistadors are nice, but cav archers will beat them because of the better production, most likely. And behind this one, Sitaux is doing an excellent job winning the land engagement, and now he's picking off a lot of villagers. Luca is down to 30, as now Sitaux will spot the siege workshop. Here comes the cav archers. Nice wall off over here on the left side, but this is still open for the conquistadors to run in. It looks like water will be now completely under the control of Bruh, and Margougou actually taps out from this one. So he's not really willing to continue water engagements, which means he will go to Castle Age. The thing is that he could try going war wagons, but he needs stone for that, and he needs to actually send villagers to the other side of the map to do that. With that being said, early conquistadors will definitely be clapping the cav archers, because cav archers need ballistics at least to be somewhat competitive. We'll have some monks as well from Sitaux. They do have a 28 villagers lead right now. So with that being said, they do have water completely under their control, and indeed Bruh is actually adding some more fishing ships as well. So the fishing ships are laming the trade cog. Oh, poor trade cog. So, Scorpion is in now to deal with the cav archers. Scouts trying to pick it off, but so far unsuccessful. And this push can still be somewhat scary, but the eco lead is definitely on the side of Bruh's team. As Margougou and Bruh are now on the way to Castle Age towards as well. Cav archers trying to jump in the face of the Scorpion to pick it off, and will be successful with that. We will have the cav archers for now holding this one, especially with monks coming in. This should be all right for now. So with that, we're gonna have the cav archers finishing off the other Scorpion, but they first focused down the spearmen, because there were quite a lot of spearmen coming in here from Margougou. 4 villagers coming in as well from him. I'm not sure what he's planning, but he made a couple of spearmen against the scouts of his opponent. For now, it is a massive lead for Sitaux, a very important husbandry upgrade for those cav archers. So he's gonna have the mobility factor. Here comes University for ballistics. And there is a Bactrian camel chilling there for Luca, whereas Bruh's Bactrian camel actually is doing auto scouting. One of the things that we noticed with the Bactrian camos in Red Bull Volo 2, I believe, is that because they don't have any combat value, they're merely a scouting unit, you can just set them on auto-scouting if you still have them in, like, late feudal, early castle, and they will just scout the entire map for you, if they don't run into TC fire, obviously. So, full water control for Bruh's team, having a very convincing 40 Voyagers lead, and they're like really playing this one just like their home map. So you can see why they picked this map as a home map, and indeed, Luca's team is just going to tap out. They understand that the Conks won't do much against them. There is free TCs as well. There was an attempt for a Monk and Siege push, but reality is indeed that I think the score isn't lying. There's a full water control for Bruh+Sitaux with good fishing eco. They do have a TCs protecting this part of the base. You have Lithuanians as well, and you would have 1 or 2 relics here as well. And the Cav Archers will hold off the Conquistadors, and then the Cav Archers can just go counter-raid. So you can say that the team that made trade cogs in the tournament so far have a 100% win rate in the games that they made trade cogs at. Completely legitimate tournament statistics by Lida. So with that, so we can jump into game number 3 soon, but that means that we have Coast to Mountain taken by Bruh+Sitaux, and now we're going to Team Islands or Cape of Storms. So this is where the civ selections are actually worth evaluating. Cape of Storms is an excellent map for Mongols because there is some extra hunt. It is a great map for Japanese, but we don't have that over here. Team Islands will likely be an islands pick, which would mean Byzantines being not Socotra. Burgundians, we'll see if we see them, but I feel like Burgundians, Byzantines will be the civs for not Socotra. Mongols and maybe Indians for Cape of Storms. Or no, Indians has to be Team Islands. Because Indians is like a legit water civ. They have fairly decent upgrades on their ships. So we could see something like Turks and Mongols on Cape of Storms going for scouts with Turks. Could be a possibility. Other side is Saracens, most likely your water civ. And soon we might need to see some Italians. With that, we will actually get going with game number 3. It's either Cape of Storms or Team Islands, and it is going to be Cape of Storms. So game number 3 is coming in. Welcome everyone to Tupos 2's first qualifier round. We will have, if Capture Age is willing to cooperate, game number 3 over here between Bruh+Sitaux versus, once again, Margougou and Luca. So Luca is using his blue Saracens here as flank, and we will have Teutons as Margougou in green pocket. Not really the civilizations I imagined for this map. Other side is Turks flank, which is acceptable, I think, and Mongols pocket makes a lot of sense as well. So there's a lot to talk about with this map, but in Tupos 1 2 years ago, we decided to have a bit of a mapping contest for players so that, you know, you can actually submit your own map. There was a bit of a prize pool as well, but the biggest prize was that your map was featured in the tournament and pro players played on it. But the map was so good, this is Young Panda's Cape of Storms, that we decided to keep it, and it actually became sort of a legacy Tupos map. So this is actually depicting the stormy coastline of South Africa. So the land here is South Africa, and you will see a lot of unique civs about this one, or you know, a lot of unique things. We have waves over here. The hills in the water, they actually depict waves, and they give you just as much of a hill advantage as land hills do. So if you ride the waves with your ships, you're gonna have some advantage over the opponent. 2 years ago, back then when Team Secret was playing this one, what Team Secret did was Japanese Pocket, and Japanese Pocket works really well with an insane fish boom. There is no clear way of playing this map because the map is very, very open. So you can play it with a scouts heavy play, like I think Hera and Leader did this in Empire Wars Duo, where this map was also featured. Or you can play this with a hybrid map build and go for the fish as well. The drawback of the hybrid map build is that you're actually really exposed to your opponent pushing you at the beginning. The other unique thing about this map is that this map features a pocket player and a flank player, which is pretty rare in 2v2s. In fact, I think one of the proudest things I have with tuples is that if you take a look at the ranked map pool, you can see that Coastal Forest, the map that was added to the game not too long ago, is pretty much a copy of Cape of Storms. It's actually a worse version, I believe, so it's not as balanced, I would say. This is a lot more open map, and that is a lot more campy, but it is actually a fairly straight-up copy of Cape of Storms. It has no connection to the tournament, so it was done completely independently from that, but still, there is instances where certain maps of tournaments, like for example, Cross becoming 4 leagues, gets implemented into the game, and Cape of Storms was the template most likely for Coastal Forest. That being said, this is a relatively open map. Most of the wood is here in the middle, and most of the gold's on north. There's an awful lot of gold on this map. Relics always spawn in this baobab forest in the middle, as we're gonna have water builds from Bruh+Sitaux over here, so they will both go for water. And on the other side, we will only have water for Margougou, so he wants to just go for pure fish boom, and we might see an instance of the famous and well-renowned Teutonic Navy in this one. So the question is what Saracens will do over here. You started 3 elephants, so you can definitely go for like a Saracen Market Abuse Castle Age for knights, but that's really risky because I think that the Turkish player is just gonna go for scouts. It is going to be essentially a dead villager. Oh my goodness. I feel like it would be a waste of using not using Capture Age's capabilities to rewatch this amazing moment, especially considering that Capture Age refuses to cooperate. So it looks like we have Capture Age completely frozen and dead. Oh, we're back. So I'm going to play with fire over here and rewind that beautiful villager kill. Oh, that was so unlucky. That villager actually was garrisoned inside the TC, but sometimes if you ungarrison too fast... What? What is this? Look at this slow-mo. The boar actually attacks, the animation starts before the villager leaves the town center. Oh, that's so unlucky, I mean, for Bruh. That's so unlucky. I don't blame him for that. Still, I think he jumped out of that TC a little too early, but that's -1 villager for our red player. At least based on game number 1, he already got used to losing villagers, so it's not the biggest deal ever for him. So he tries to go up, but is apparently unsuccessful. Has some TC idle time, still not enough food. Now he's ready to go up. So, according to chat, the way that this works is that if you garrison the villager that's 0 HP, and then you ungarrison it, it just dies. So, what that would mean is that the beginning of the animation is where the damage is dealt to the villager. Still, fishing eco is up for Margougou over here, and that's something that Bruh sees. And in this case, I could very well see Bruh fighting water, so just going for fire galleys, and his pocket player playing scouts. By the way, interesting is the fact that Sitaux didn't bring in his elephant. He clearly sees the elephant, but it looks like Sitaux is playing water. If Sitaux didn't play water, he would have brought in this elephant, but you see that he sent all his villagers to wood and gold, so that's why he is not bringing in that elephant. He will eventually bring it in, but for now he's gonna be the water player, I believe, or just forward archer range archers. Interesting, there is some weird strategies here. For now, double scouts for Margougou and Luca, and Luca is actually going for what, by the way, is a fairly fast fuel age over here. 19 villagers just now in for him, so he really used the advantage from the extra hunt. So it was a 19 pop feudal. Admirable, because you can't use the Saracen bonus in Dark Age right now. It looks like his eco isn't really suitable though for making villagers, so this might backfire at the end because, yeah, he's up to feudal, congrats, but you don't have any eco. So 19 villagers and stuck at that for quite a long time. I feel like this build was a little too tight for Luca. He's gonna be able to play with archers, but his eco isn't going to be that amazing. We are gonna have double range archers for Sitaux, and this is a good game plan. They want to wall this crossing off as much as possible. There is still an opening on north, but it takes quite a lot of time for especially archers to walk all the way around here. What you have to be careful about is the baobab trees, which form a straight line to the wood line here, so this is actually closed. So, Luca now can queue up no more villagers. It's interesting that he went for a blacksmith first, and not even the market. I would understand this if this was a market. Triple range archers with actual no villagers on food. If he was buying food, I would be okay, whatever. He made a blacksmith, but he can't even afford villagers, let alone fletching, so I am somewhat unconvinced by this archer play here from Luca. That 900 score, I think, is telling the truth, and Bru's team is already 8 villagers ahead. They didn't really have to put massive effort into booming, to be honest, for that. So, with that, scouts are coming in for Brew right now. Obviously, the Turkish scouts here will have the extra pierce armor, which is a nice benefit already for them. One of the reasons why they can be a decent flank sieve here. So, Turkish scouts are actually pretty underrated in this situation, especially if the opponent's archers doesn't have fletching. So, that's basically 4 attack on units that have 3 pierce armor. You deal 1 damage per hit. So these scouts are actually very, very good at cleaning up those archers. There is +1 defense in already for Margougou though. So that compensates a tiny bit here, and it looks like this is just gonna be an even trade of armies. But an even trade favors Bru's team, because believe it or not, Bru's team is actually already 10 villagers ahead. So Luca's still 21 villagers, triple range archers over here. Oh my goodness. Also, it doesn't help that he's losing villagers, and Luca is playing 0 villager game, apparently. Down to 16, down to 15, I believe. And without the Saracen market, does he have a market anywhere? It doesn't seem like it. He doesn't have a market. He's mining gold like a madman. But, I mean, he could afford a market to at least buy himself food to make a villager every once in a while. But I feel like this game is just going nowhere for them, especially with the Mongol player still having access to the extra hunt here. It appears that the water is very, very peaceful, but Sitaux now sends in a fire galley just to make sure that Margougou doesn't have a good time on the water. And I just don't know what Luca wants with this game, but currently he's gonna be sitting at like a majestic 20-ish population after 15 minutes. Soon he might have more army than villagers. So, with that, archers will be cleaned up over here. That's a lot of scouts for Margougou with our Teutonic player, but still, their opponents are fully walled, having a 20 villagers lead right now, and really Sitaux is just going to increase that lead even further with a fire galley if he actually hits this part of Margougou's eco. Margougou going for double stable scouts over here, so he's really putting everything into his scouts play. It's actually triple stables now. What am I even talking about? Triple stable scouts. It's a shame that you have no chance of getting through the opponent's walls, even though there technically is an opening here, so you could just run past. That would be a disaster for Bru's team if that happened, but it seems like we're gonna have triple stable scouts as well from our red player. Market coming in at the 3rd range is hitting as well for Sitaux. So, theoretically, this is still a massive advantage for Sitau's team, and unless Luca's team is able to do like insane damage on the opponent, that feels nearly impossible. It looks like we just have 0 villagers on food. Like, legit Luca doesn't care about villas. He wants to play with 17 villagers in this entire game. Bru doing some massive eco balancing over here. He was mining gold quite heavily, apparently not really having a lot of food in the bank. So, with that, we are gonna have the scouts breaking in with the support of the archers, but unless they actually kill 30 villagers here, this isn't going to be enough. According to chat, what went wrong here for Luca is that Sitaux also went for Tati-like build with quick 2 range. I see, and of course the Turkish extra pierce on the scouts. Indeed, this feels like a full-on archer play, but against Turkish scouts and against a Mongols player that is able to afford double ranges fairly fast because they have an insane food eco at the beginning, so they don't need to send that many villagers on food. This didn't really work out that way. So, Turkish scouts, indeed, looking pretty tough over here. +1/+1 is in, which means there is 4 pierce armor on these guys, and bloodlines as well. On the other scouts there is +1 attack and +1 defense and bloodlines, but the numbers aren't really there, and it's 25 army compared to 13. So with that, Luca's team taps out and Bru's team takes 2 in a row. So with that, one of the more interesting facts indeed about Turks is that it's a very underrated bonus to have 1 extra pierce armor, and one of the beauty of this tournament is that you got to see civilizations picked in situations where you don't usually see them being picked. If this was hidden free pick, you would never see Turks being a flank civ here. But this is what this tournament is all about, being able to adapt your strategy to the civilizations that the opponents give you. And that's the entire concept of 2 polls. Bruh+Sitaux take game number 3 over here. And with that, we are gonna have game number 4 coming up on the only remaining home map for Luca's team, which is Team Islands. Vikings at Khmer remaining versus Sicilians and Goths. So, question. Do you choose Burgundians or Sicilians on water? Because I legit... Oh wait, no, it's not Burgundians, it's Goths on water. I think it might be Goths for landing. But that would leave Sicilians for Not Socotra. Honestly, Sicilians might be good for Not Socotra because that's a volable map, and with First Crusade, you don't really need mobility on Not Socotra, so Sicilians might be better there. But landing with Sicilians could be the case. Other side, Italians is a no-brainer. Maybe with Indians or Burgundians. So, let's jump into game number 4 over here. It is match point in the favor of Bruh+Sitaux. We're going to Team Islands, and the first time Sicilians will actually be seen in any 2v2 scenario in the competitive scene, I believe. Because even Hidden Cup had like 1 or 2 games with Sicilians, but now we will see Sicilians in action over here. Luca will be playing Sicilians in a blue, and on the south we are gonna have Margougou playing as Vikings in a green. And with that, other side we will have Bruh as Italians in a red, and an insanely crazy TC spawn for Sitaux. What is this? What is this TC spawn even? As we have Sitaux playing as Indians in yellow. Indeed, something I forgot is the fact that Sicilian transports are pretty tanky, although Saracens are capable of doing the same thing as well. Regardless of that, Indians have good galleons. And I think one of the things that you have to consider is that on islands you prefer civilizations that have a good post-imp water play of any sort. Now on Team Islands that's a little bit less relevant because you can always just jump out of transports and try to land your opponent. So with Team Islands, you see there is no neutral islands in the middle. That's the difference. That's the main difference between Team Islands and islands in general. So even if you played 1v1 Team Islands, there would be no middle island. So with that, we are gonna have Indians, as I said, for Sitaux, could be a landing save. Italians should be a water save here. The question is what Margougou is going to do with the Vikings. He's 4 on wood already, pushing in the air. This could very well be a fast castle longboat play from him. On the other side, for Luca, he's 4 on wood as well, so it's going to be a hybrid build for him as well. And according to Margu on the chat, Luca just took a strange Portuguese message with Google Translate to destabilize Bro. Look at that psychological warfare that Luca is conducting over here. That's amazing. Gotta love that. So, Sitau's map isn't really great, but technically it is defendable in case a land aggression comes this way. We're gonna have a back dock for Brew, so it could very well be a fast castle from him. Luca is going to do front dock over here, and we're gonna have a back dock for Margougou in the corner. That's gonna be nice for him overall. First dock is up for him already. So, with that being said, you have OD already being pushed in for Brew, and he's gonna bring in board number 2. It is also worth pointing out that Margougou's map isn't amazing, to be honest. He's pretty close to the water as well, which can always be problematic. If you get landed, you might need to retreat a little bit, and if you're right next to the water, that's always hard. So, that's something that you have to keep in your mind. With that, we will actually get game very soon for us here. So, for now, it is just the Dark Age builds of these players. We're gonna have a front dock for Sitaux. That could also be for a landing. Woes are going up for Margougou, and we are gonna have let's see, Field Age soon coming in for Sitaux. Obviously, when you're playing Indians, a little bit of a help comes from the fact that you have the shore fishing bonus, so this Voyager is actually getting you a little bit of extra food compared to the opponent. Not really a big deal, and you see that all players are doing loom, so they are definitely afraid of a landing. In fact, Margougou is going for some Voes back at home. We do have fishing ships coming in here as well for Margougou. Just one back dock, and he's going up the fuel as well, so it looks like it's a galley play, and he is not going to play fast castle longboats. It is understandable, I would say. So it is a very, very reasonable play here for him. Longboats might be too ambitious with fast castle because you could potentially get landed. That being said, there is the transport coming in for Sitaux. If there is one ship that lands for or yellow and red team, it has to be Indians. Other side, it's most likely going to be Sicilians, but there is no transport from Luca, no second dock either, although he has 2 Voyagers in here. Sitaux is finding a very, very unfortunate place to land, so Luca will probably be aware of this landing. It's not really a brain surgery to see that. And, I mean, Sitaux is trying, but Luca is like, oh no, you're not landing here. So, it looks like Luca didn't want to land, he just wanted to go for full water play, and he's doing a nice job tracking this. He can also have his teammate scout being sent here, so they can actually take this fight 2v1. The ship pops out, and Fuel Age is already in for Sitaux, which means that he can actually take this fight with his scout. Luca now running away from this one, but the stable is gonna go up. This will actually force Luca to go for defense though, but when it's a stable landing, well, one thing that you can do is just wall off like this, or the alternative is that you can just make a barracks and spearman. Combination of both is better because the transport can still transport the scouts around. So now 2 scouts are in, so they could actually try picking off these Voyagers, and you see that Sitaux is jumping into the dock, or not the dock, but the transport, just to make sure that those Voyagers aren't actually getting picked off. So for now, it is triple docks at the back for Margougou, whereas Brew is actually just playing 1-2 docks, so they're actually playing this one pretty passive for now, but that actually gives an advantage to Vikings, I believe. So Eco-wise, we are actually pretty close over here. And we do have a villager that's gonna get picked off by the scouts, which means that this gate is gonna get denied. We also have a landing coming in here for Luca. There was a delayed landing. And the question, aren't Sicilian transports supposed to have more HP? Because Capture Age is not showing that. So that might be a bug. Well, probably the reason why is because no one ever used Sicilians to land so far. It's Pierce Armor. Pierce Armor doesn't show either. It's 8, and 8 Pierce Armor as well here. So it's 4 and 8. 4 and 8. Oh, I see, I see. So it's just the bonus damage. Didn't they used to have an actual bonus that was completely the same as Saracens? I think when they were released, they had 200 HP on their transports, didn't they? So with that, we're gonna have an archer range coming in here for a Luca. And, oh, it's the +5 carry capacity then. I remember that it was redundant with Saracens, that's why it felt so off. Alright, so we have full bows for Margougou, he's safe for now. We do have Margougou's scout over here taking a fight against one of Sitau's. Sitaux bringing in a villager to take that scout down, so he saves his own. But there's a landing over here as well, and Sicilians are actually pretty scary when it comes to landing. This will just be noticed by Bruh. There's already scouts out, and I did mention that Sitaux can wall himself off quite nicely over here, but if he gets pushed off from his wood lines, he could be in massive, massive trouble. Scouts now from Sitaux might actually find the wood line of Luca over here. Luca does have quite a lot of spearmen over here to defend though. Let's see if Sitaux is able to pick off a villager or not. It looks like he will. Picks off one will, and he's gonna bring in the scouts for a second kill as well. Other side, we do have Luca coming in here on Sitau's wood line, and this pretty much catches Sitaux off guard really badly over here. Sitaux was completely unprepared for this. He's got a barracks, but nothing to answer an archer really. So he's gonna have to rush up a defensive tower, and that already results in massive chaos inside his eco. Now, however, it is Luca also losing an awful lot of villagers. So at the end of the day, villager count is still in the favor of Bruh's team. Galleys now coming in for Margougou. So they're going for the fishing eco of Bruh over here for now, as both our yellow and blue players are suffering from massive, massive damage from this landing. Another archer range comes in here for Sitaux inside the walls of Luca. Luca still has his scouts and archers run, but there's the defensive tower up for Sitaux, which helps defend against this archer and scout aggression. And with that, it looks like Luca is gonna pull the villagers to take this fight. Not necessarily something that's ideal by any means. On the water, we do have Margougou taking over though, and if you take a look at the resources, he's getting close to cleaning up to Castle Age. Problem is that his opponent is already up. So, Bruh is already up, he was completely untouched, so was Margougou, but Italian cheaper up helps quite a bit. In this one, archers will pick off the villager over here, and we are gonna have the galleys chasing down the fishing eco of Bruh, but not really doing an awful lot of damage currently. So, archers and scouts here trying to deny the wood line as much as possible. For now, Luca is going to be able to hold that, and he still has quite a lot of scouts here that could actually jump this wood line. The scouts do have no upgrades on them. Luca is doing a nice job picking off villagers, and the villager count is getting closer and closer. Now it's a galley micro over here. It looks like Margougou is able to take a very, very decent engagement over here against his opponent's galleys. So, galleys being taken down, and on the other side, archers will pick off the spearmen. So, we'll have, this is a cleanup. Castle Age is in for Bruh and Margougou very, very soon as well. The biggest problem that they're actually facing is that you can't make defensive towers, for example, with Sicilians, which is a problem. You're forced to make a donjon that takes more time to build, I believe. And now Luca is losing a lot of voters. He's down to 31. As that's a doubt dungeon, ladies and gentlemen. A legitimate and genuine doubt dungeon. Stopped at 93%. He's doing some damage to Sitaux, but Sitaux is still 43 villagers as opposed to Luca being 27. So Luca's villager count is not so amazing. Here comes some more archers. There is +1 attack for Sitaux, same for Luca, as he just wants to get that donjon up here, garrisons the villagers, but the archers will just still try to camp beneath it, and that should be alright. And unless Luca is actually able to do an awful lot of damage to Sitaux, they're in trouble. Second TC coming up for Bruh. He's already having Vorgalis on the field. Vorgali just now coming in for Margougou. He needs 30 more seconds to take this fight. Ship number-wise, he's got the better numbers, and most of the ships is over here. So, with that, we're gonna have Vorgali in very soon for him. No ballistics just yet, but Luca needs to start doing damage ASAP. That being said, there is an opening here, so if Bruh is not paying attention, the scouts will just run past, or you can use Vorgalis to open up walls, and those scouts could actually get some damage done on Bruh's eco. Archers will come in here to try and deny the second layering, but it goes up just in time, so that's not gonna work out at all. Beautiful square formation for Bruh's ships over here as he's going for 3 TCs. Still, Luca is unable to do damage here, and his donjon here is still being denied. Well, not the donjon, but the gold mine is what is getting denied here. Luca currently has 2 villagers on gold somewhere, because his other gold mine is over here. So, really, he lost all his gold income, and I guess he's gonna have to make a couple of skirmishers to clean this one up first. Still unable to get in through the walls. The houses hold firmly. In terms of like Margougou versus Bruh on water, that's fairly even. The problem is that Sitaux is like miles ahead of Luca. Luca is not even close to clicking up to Castle Age. He doesn't have reliable gold income. And now Sitaux is up to Castle and he's gonna get a crossbow. This is the moment where Luca decides that he needs to fight that. If he doesn't fight it, then that's gonna be crossbows in a moment. Dungeons and garrison as well. And on the other side, Water is actually being won by Margougou. The problem is that Luca is getting clapped here really badly. Now scouts run past though, and sort of a now or never for Luca. He needs to make sure he finishes off Bruh, or at least does an awful lot of damage. Because at the end of the day, if he doesn't finish off his opponent here, or at least do insane damage, it's going to be nearly impossible to compensate for Luca being this much dead. So, for now, it is 34 war galleys against 16. There's a demo somewhere. Oh, there's a demo here. There's a demo here soon. Margougou. Demo. That's a dangerous game, and that was a nice demo shot. It didn't sink any of the ships, but it was actually a very, very efficient demo shot over there. Fleet being saved over here by Bruh. As, look at this, by the way. Sitaux is now having all this yellow on the opponent's island, with now Mangonels pushing Margougou. Margougou has to react with his own workshop. Sitaux will be 3 TCs, so will be Bruh. These scouts apparently are taking a day off over here, so they refuse to cooperate with Luca. But now Knight's defense should be good enough to clean up unupgraded scouts, and this is match point. So at the end of the day, if Luca's team loses, they are out, and Bruh and Sitaux would move forward after what was a disaster game number 1 for them. Ship numbers are still looking better for Margougou and Luca, but villager count is way better for Bruh, and what's even worse is that Luca is just so much dead. I mean, he's nowhere close to Castle Age. He's got crossbows inside his base. He could be exposed to Mangonels. The only reason why there is no knights running around his eco right now is because Indians don't have knights. So, at this very moment, Sitau's eco is now safe. The ships are nice from Margougou, but I feel like at this point, Bruh could try... Yeah, the problem is that Bruh isn't really able to get docks up because the scouts are denying him from moving out. So that's a nice advantage. as we do have a mangonel defense now from Margougou. Takes a shot to the outside, will be unsuccessful killing any mangonels. Nice mangonel death here for both players. 40 villagers lead now though for Bruh's team, and that's actually a nice 0 for 2 here. That was a beautiful one from Sitaux, and considering the fact that there was already a TC being taken down here from Margougou, he's back to 2 TCs. Luca is still on the land of the dead, to be honest, and with 6 villagers on food, he's barely able to get villagers out from his TC. Like, the only thing that keeps them in this game right now is Margougou's fleet. That's the only thing that really is there. Nothing else really goes for them, and I feel like if Bruh is able to redog, they will just finish off this game nice and easy. I wonder if Sitaux will try landing and drop a castle. He's actually mining stone with 2, so it's not impossible he will actually land and drop a castle in the face of Luca, just sort of signaling that they want to move to the next round. Mangonel traded 1 for 1. As the skirmishers are now moving in, that's gonna be a nice shot from Margougou, but Luca's score is sort of telling the truth, and really, it is just in the hands of Margougou to do magic here, but I don't know what kind of magic could help here, especially with now Bruh redocking 76 villagers compared to 58, so he should have no trouble matching the War Galley numbers of Margougou over here, especially considering that our green player is actually under pressure by mangonels. Skirmishers over here, these are feudal age skirmishers with no defense upgrade, so mangonel and just a camel will be able to deal with them. No trouble. Crossbow's now moving in once again. Like, really, Luca is trying his best here, but he is just omega dead in this one. So, War Galleys from Bruh's side. Now finding some villagers. That's a nice find over there on the stone mine. So, Margougou is going to have to bring in some War Galleys. He still has 40 War Galleys against only 13. And now this redocking isn't going to work out either. But Imperial Age is on the way for Bruh. He could try dropping a castle to defend those docks, although he doesn't have the stone for it. So it might be Sitaux dropping a castle for him. Because really the only thing that they're missing is actual fleet from Bruh. There's just nothing on the water for them right now. Which could still be troublesome. But the eco is massively in the favor of Bruh's team. They will get careening, so it's probably going to be fast fires. Indeed, here comes the massive redocking. The idea here is that you're actually building those docks faster than your opponent can destroy them. So, if you can actually get 5 docks up with fast fires, you're good to go, I think. Boso coming into nice and majestic 33 minutes time for Sitaux, as he's denying this stone away from the opponent. The other stone was harassed a tiny bit by War Galleys, as Margougou is going to play with 3 TCs from now on. Luca is actually going to be slower to Castle Age than his opponent to Imperial, which last time I checked isn't really an ideal situation. So 1 minute away from Imperial and fast fires with careening, they should be able to destroy all these War Galleys in here. For now, the siege workshop still stands, and there is going to be mangonels coming in to keep pushing the base of Margougou. And other side, Luca is just still dead. So, with that, we are gonna have Imp and potentially GG even soon. We're gonna have scale barding for Luca, so apparently he wants to continue with scouts, going for full feudal, but that ain't gonna work, my friend, that ain't gonna work. Fire ships pop out a little earlier than needed, but I guess they want to lower the amount of ships around so they can actually relieve pressure on those docks before fast fire would kick in. Once fast fire is in, it seems impossible for these War Galleys to survive. For now, they will be able to take down some of these fire ships, but in 20 seconds, the fast fires will just steamroll those War Galleys. But apparently, Margougou isn't paying attention. Remember that he's gotta focus on the micro over here as well, which means that he even lost his fleet to fire ships, let alone fast fires. And now, that fleet that once actually numbered 20 galleons, or War Galleys, it's just 20 now, soon to be even lower. And I feel like if Bruh just starts adding War Galley or galleons now, he could just start denying the resource income of the opponent, because you can see that Margougou isn't able to take resources from here because he's getting pushed from land. So a couple of War Galleys even would start harassing the fishing eco, the wood eco. And there is the castle from Sitaux, a 1 villager castle coming in here from him. going for TC number 4. And I mean, is Luca gonna get to Castle Age here? That's the real question. Because they haven't actually resigned yet. The second mining camp is coming in. For a moment I thought that's a donjon. Because mining camp foundations and donjon foundations, for whatever reason, are similar. And, well, there's a couple of scouts here. That's the good news for Luca. So they decreased that voyage deficit, which still numbers 70 bills. But at the end of the day, camos should have no trouble cleaning this one up, I believe. So we are gonna have a converted camo, actually 2 converted camos finishing off the mangonels. If they look here, they might even be able to find the castle. That being said, the fast fires are now out and there is no water control from Margougou's team. They are doing some nice damage here with the scouts, but it doesn't really compensate them for the fact that indeed galleons are now coming in for Bruh. 213 voyages against 145, and Imperial Age for Sitaux as well. Sitaux could just go for his own camos, and honestly, if he gets that castle up over there, he's just gonna go for trebs. We'll see if this castle goes up, though, because technically there's voyagers here that could spot that. Can they see it? No, they can't see the castle, so this is gonna be the worst ever farming spot for you once that castle goes up with 1 voyager. A castle here is being dropped by Bruh to get some additional docks in, as the scouts are trying to deny that one as much as possible. And don't underestimate Sicilian scouts against spearmen, they take less bonus damage, which is a nice thing to have. Castle is up, so this farming space is gonna be denied. Cannon Galleon now on the way though, and this is what I was referring to. When there is pressure coming from this side, you can just send in the galleons here and start killing stuff from the other side. And even though these scouts look scary, I mean, you're up against Imperial Age, 2 Imperial Age players. Soon one of them is gonna have heavy camo, and guess what? Heavy camos will still stomp Fuel Age scouts. Now Crossbow's moving in here as well, picking off a couple of Voyagers. Nice value for those units overall. And I feel like this game is over for a while now. Imperial Age coming in from Margougou, and it looks like Luca is gonna be forever feudal. He's trying his best to raid his way back into the game, but this ship has sailed away, so to say. Because, well, they're up against 2 Imperial Age players having a 90 Voyager deficit. And no water control, their land control is somewhat questionable. And, I mean, once cannon galleons come in, this castle is gonna go down. Where are even the cannon galleons? Here they come. 5 elite. Is it elite? Yeah, it's elite cannon galleons. So they will just melt those buildings over here. And there's gonna be nowhere to go. Treb's already coming out for Sitaux. He knows about this castle here, so he will actually start trapping it down immediately. Luca still trying to clean this one up as best as possible, but that feels impossible. I mean, he's doing good things. It's a matter of this game is too far gone. Had he not lost that many Voyagers in Feudal, this could have been different, but his landing didn't do as much damage as Sitau's landing did, and at the end of the day, Luca and Margougou tap out. They did deliver us some entertaining games, that's for sure, but at the end of the day, Bruh's team ends up winning this one, and we'll have a 3-1 scoreline coming in. Here, Bruh's team is going to advance to the next round of the tournament, where one of the top 8 seeds in the qualifiers is waiting for them.